Fifth in a top international competition in the Masters category. Paul, how did that go for you?
It went very, very well, Giles. I was hoping for top six, and like you said, I achieved fifth, so slightly better than I expected. Yeah, it went very well, very well.
I think one of the first time I ever saw you was in 1995 when you did the EFBB, British Championships as a middleweight. Yeah. It's obviously that means you've been competing very many years now. What's that? 16, 17 years you've been competing?
Actually, I think it's around about 20 years now. I think my first show was around about 1990. I think. Yeah, that was my first show, which was the if I remember right, it was the Billy Boyd show, which used to be held, I think, in Middlesbrough.
That was a good friend of Tom Platz's, wasn't he?
That's correct, yes, I'd done that. I got second in my first show, yeah. Like you said, it was a long time ago.
But even in the last 20 years, I don't think have you ever even taken a year off?
I think somewhere in them 20 years I've maybe had 1 year off, but I like to keep consistent. You know, I feel as though if I have too long off, you know, the judges might forget who you are and stuff like that. And by being consistent and competing every year, it allows me to keep, you know, a fairly strict diet, and doesn't allow me to get too fat. You know, which is why I like competing most of the time.
I would say arguably your best year was obviously, I know we keep talking about this, it was in 2004 when you won your area qualifier. You won the Britain, and you placed very well in a couple of international shows. I think, is it safe to say, obviously, well, it is safe to say that after those years you struggled to kind of get back to that 2004 look. Yet last year you kind of came back with a vengeance, and you really started to regain what was kind of the look that we'd seen in 2004.
Yeah, you're right. 2004 was definitely my best year. Since then, there's been slight ups and downs in my life. But nobody to blame really. I just needed to be a little bit tighter and stricter on my diet, which, as you said, I've done. I think last year, and I think I've brought a little bit better condition to the table this year. Hopefully next year, I'll try and achieve the 2004 condition, which I've been trying to get since then.
I asked you once, I said, how did you manage to get so good for 2004, and why did you kind of not look ever as good? You said that you just dieted for longer. You said you dieted for 20 weeks in 2004.
Yeah, right. It was approximately just slightly over 6 months it was. I dieted, and it was hard, but at the same time, it did make it a little bit easier at the same time, because I think I came in, I was probably ready about anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks prior to the show, which allowed me to increase my calories as I got closer. So it was just a matter of timing and basically, you know, prepping that few months extra, which as most bodybuilders know, it is slightly hard to to diet for 6 months. But yeah, that's what I think I need to do. I need to go back to that type of preparation to achieve that look.
It's a hard slog, isn't it?
It is, yes. But I think the results, it's worth it at the end of the day, you know, to get that top spot, whether it's a local or international show, you know. Yeah.
So you turned Masters last year. Did you not consider maybe staying in your height or weight class?
Well, one of my main goals for 2004 was to try and win the regional show that I'd been trying to win for several years, which had kind of like eluded me for so long.
Got second, third, second.
That's correct. And then when I did,
it's called Zach Kahn syndrome.
And then when I did eventually get it, I went on to take the Britain in that particular federation, and I thought that was my goal at the time. So
the year before, you didn't even place top 6, did you?
That's correct. I think that must have been probably my worst year. And certain people more or less did tell me it was time to hang up my posing trunks, but I decided no, there's a little bit more left of me yet. So it was the following year that we decided to prepare 6 months, you know, and like I said, the rest is really history, really, because that particular year I achieved everything I wanted to achieve. So to answer your question, why I didn't stick into that particular Masters category was because it was my goal. I achieved it. So I thought, well, what's next? So the Masters was next.
Try another category.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to achieve now. Like you said before, I came fifth in just the international show recently. I'm just going to try and get to that #1 spot in the future.
So what show are you going to what show are you going to do next then? Maybe?
Probably just the regional show of that particular federation, to basically get me back to the British Championships, and then hopefully for this international show that I've just placed fifth in. So yeah, I think my next show will be, I'd say probably anywhere between April or May next year.
So, I mean, obviously, I'm from your area. Obviously, I've moved up here 11 years ago. I think a lot of people don't realise, well, certainly in the UK, but obviously not in America, is how good the bodybuilders are in this area. Do you think the northeast of England is one of the best areas for bodybuilding in the country?
I do think so. Obviously, it's a lot smaller than obviously down south and stuff. But I think for the amount of bodybuilders that there are in the northeast of this country, I think, I just think I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's something in the water, but I just think the standard is really, really high. The work ethic is good, and this gym alone, as you know, has produced a lot of British champions.
To obviously Britain and the rest of the world, how do you feel that British bodybuilding is doing at the moment? Do you feel it's in a good position or a bad position at the moment?
I think obviously when Dorian's era, he was the man and stuff. I think now, to be totally honest with you, I think there's a few good bunch of guys and women coming up through the ranks in this country. Not to mention a few like Flex Lewis, Sean Tavernier, Zach Corn, just to name but a few. But I do think it's getting there. Slowly. I mean, America's unfortunately still a little bit ahead of us enough, but I think Britain is catching up pretty quickly, to be honest with you.
Who's your all-time favourite British bodybuilder then?
Oh, all-time favourite. It's got to be Mr. Yates himself. Dorian Yates. He's got to be. I mean, he's done lots for the bodybuilding world. He's done lots for this country. Rock hard, big, massive, freaky bodybuilder. That there's a lot of people that might not like his physique, but I just think he's absolutely awesome. And he's totally like a role model for the likes of myself and a lot of other guys I know.
In regards to your own physique, well, how would you describe your own physique in terms of,
I'd say...
what's your strengths?
My strengths probably my back, and maybe my arms is probably my strength. As far as weaknesses, yes, everybody's got them, unfortunately. My lower part, I'm going to be working on a lot for 2012, just to try and bring them up to match my upper body. But overall physique, I like to think it's pretty pleasing to the eye and pretty symmetrical, apart from the little weak points I've mentioned. But yeah, that's definitely what I think.
When you really do nail that condition, you're one of the guys that's very, very hard to beat. But that has always been your Achilles heel, isn't it? Your condition. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off, and when you're on, you seem to do very, very well, and when you're off, you seem to do very, very badly.
I'm just like I'm not.
There seems to be no middle ground with you. You either do like bang right there, or you're right at the top.
Right, you're dead right. I'm not perfect, never claimed to be, but I think I'm on my way now to, I mean, been in this sport over 20 years now, and as you probably know from a lot of people who you've interviewed and stuff, it's a constant learning curve. You never.
It's not an exact science, is it?
No. I mean, whatever you do one year, you may try and do it the following year, and you might not get the same results, and I know more of that than anybody else, So basically, I think I've kind of got a bit of a winning formula this year.
You seem a lot. I mean, I've photographed you last year after one of your shows, and you looked nowhere near as full as this. You look kind of a lot smaller. Is that just you've blown up, or you actually put on a lot more thickness this year?
Well, to be honest with you, as you know, I've just recently done a show, so I've just come off my diet the last week or so. So I think I've just filled up a bit, and I've still, because I haven't gone too overboard, I've still maintained a reasonable amount of condition and stuff, As far as muscle mass, I don't think I've really put any more on since the last time you saw me. I just think it's more refined, And what I'm going to try and do for 2012 is basically not allow myself to go too heavy, because that's been my problem in the past.
You compete about 15, and I've seen you at like 18 and a half.
Yeah, just 18, 4, 5 is probably the heaviest I've been. And
50 pounds over.
Exactly, and for some...
It's easily done, surely, isn't it?
It's easily done. I mean, now with less than a week, I'm probably nearly 15, 16 pounds over my competition weight, and it's been less than a week since my last show.
What's the diet been like since the show, though?
Since the show, I've came off, relaxed, I've ate what I wanted for a few days, and then I've basically just kind of gone back to my kind of pre-contest diet, but obviously just eating a little bit more of it, really. When I eat, when I eat a little bit of crap, it gets to the point where I start feeling lethargic and, and slow and sluggish, and sometimes I can't wait to get back onto my diet just to feel good, So
one thing you're known for is you're really, really good poser and your body popping and entertaining. Where does that stem from?
Yeah, that stems from about, oh
I've
God.
never seen you dancing in the clubs or anything.
Well, I don't go.
You stood outside of it.
That's correct, yeah. Stems from when I was back in the comprehensive school, secondary school. Me and my brothers formed a dance group years ago called the Electro Break. There were 7 of us, and basically when breakdancing first came out in the, I would say, early 80s, me and my brothers and 3 or 4 other friends of mine, we got together, practiced every single night in front of the TV, constantly rewinding videos, etc., to try and mimic what we could see.
Imagine with your sweatbands on.
Yeah. To the ninth of our parents, you know, pushing the settee back, rolling the carpet over to practice on the line and stuff. But yeah, I come from a little bit of a breakdancing, body popping background, so that's kind of, I try and incorporate a little bit of body popping within my pose routine, just to make it a little bit more entertaining.
You're also, it's like, I think kind of like Melvin Anthony, that he's also a very good dancer and stuff, but he's also a very good poser, as in bodybuilding posing, not dancing. You seem to be good at both.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that's got a lot to do with the past experience I've had in the dance group that we were in, and obviously dancing is obviously entertaining, as you know. So when it comes to posing on stage, I just think, well, you know, you've only got about a minute up there to shine. So you know
for it.
Exactly, rather than coming out and just doing the basic old bodybuilding shots, which can be a little bit boring, you know. I try and do something different, not just for myself to make it, but for the judges, for the audience. At the end of the day, the audience have come paid decent money, they want to see a show, so I try and bring something different to the table each time, you know.
What about on the international bodybuilding scene? Who are you kind of your favourite bodybuilders?
Internationally right now, Phil Heath has got to be one of them, yes. I even liked Jay Cutler, you know. I like certain, not his overall physique, but I like a certain body part, you know, his quads, etc. Midsection's nice and tight when he's on. Who else I'm trying?
3 number 1 favourite, well, 3 favourite pros.
3 favourite pros would have to be Phil Heath, number 1. Sean Ray was one when he was a pro. So was Flex Wheeler when he was a pro. Currently, at the minute, it's got to be. That's a really tough one, actually.
Victor Martinez?
Yes, Victor Martinez is good, and what you call him, Winkler's good as well.
Oh yeah, Rolly Winkler.
Yeah, I like him. He's got a nice physique. How do
you think he'll do next year when now he's had this year off?
Do you know something? I think he could definitely maybe even scrape the top 6 if he comes in and that little bit extra size in the country.
I think so.
Definitely, without a doubt, you know.
I think he was just competing too much, and I think his body he kind of started slipping, you know. But now I think maybe with a year off, you know.
Without a doubt, classic physique. Can't really see any flaws in him whatsoever. If he nails that size and the condition that he's accustomed to having, well, I think the top 6 really should be a little bit concerned. Yeah.
Okay, finally, any thank yous you'd like to say?
Oh, without a doubt. First of all, to my missus, Amanda, my little boy, AJ, and obviously Gary and Alison, who've helped us tremendously. If it wasn't for them, from the owners of Ghost Star, I don't think I'd be sitting here having an interview with you today, because I don't think I would have done so well this year.
They really helped you this year, haven't they?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. So a big thank you to Gary and Alison. And obviously the good friends and fans, if you like, from Ghost Star.
But you can always spot the Gold Star guys when they're on stage, because there's those few lads in the audience. When you were like, Steve Baker on stage, the audience, those few lads are going absolutely crazy. I think that's why I started training there sometimes before a show, just so I get the support when I compete.
Yeah, it's amazing, obviously. It's amazing the support you get from the gym. The owners, the competitors, the spectators, you know. Like I said, when Ghost Star's on stage, you know about it. You know, everybody knows about it, you know. But yeah, big thanks to Gary and Alison. Like I said, wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for you guys, so thanks. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. Interesting interview there with Paul Megwa, one of the North East's top bodybuilders. Big thank you to Paul.
Cheers.
Big thank you to